Hallo, wir spielen Stanley Parable. Denke ich. Möchtest du dich vorstellen?
Hi, ich wurde gezwungen. Ich weiß nicht, was mich erwartet.
Okay, wunderbar.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Denkt jemand bitte drücken, das war furchtbar.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ja.
Hey, ich glaube, wir sind durch. Hi.
Ja. Wir haben das Spiel durchgespielt. Was sagst du so? Das Spiel ist ziemlich gut, oder?
Du hast noch nie so ein gutes Spiel gesehen.
Ja.
Okay, du
All
kannst
of
dich
his
bewegen.
co-workers were gone.
Ja, ich kann mich
What did it
bewegen.
mean? Stanley
Alle sind
decided
weg.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Kannst du
No
Sachen
matter how
aufheben?
hard Stanley looked,
Nee.
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ah, ich kann mich ducken.
Okay, ich hätte gedacht, ich hätte erstmal gesagt, erstmal die Kaffeetasse mitnehmen. Ich kenne mich aus, wenn man
Klar,
das in
erstmal eine
Gruppen macht.
Kaffeetasse mitnehmen.
Das ist wichtig. Wenn man in
Genau,
ein
so
anderes Büro
funktioniert
geht,
das.
hat man seine Kaffeetasse dabei, damit man sich da hinsetzen kann.
Ganz genau.
Oh, reinschauen!
When
Da war
Stanley
jemand.
came to a set of two open doors,
Oh.
he entered the door on his left.
Nein,
Wir gehen rechts.
Fax the
This was
System oder
not the
was?
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ja, ist ein schöner Raum, ne?
Ja, ich glaube, ich habe schon mal was von diesem Spiel gehört. Das kommt mir
Yes,
jetzt.
really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ja.
Ja, ich verstehe es. Sehr sarkastisch. Okay, gehen wir weiter.
Wir gehen weiter. Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ja, da gehen wir mal rein.
Sagst du, wir gehen hier rein?
Ja.
Nee?
Doch, ja, wir gehen da rein.
Ah, wir gehen hier rein, okay.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Nein. Wir gehen wir gucken erstmal auf die Plattform.
Die Plattform. Okay.
Ist es erleuchtet?
Es leuchtet. Der Knopf leuchtet. Oh, ich habe den Knopf gedrückt.
Yes.
But Stanley
yeah.
didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Ja.
No,
Okay.
no, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Das ist cool gemacht.
Down,
Es
right,
ist auf jeden Fall halt
down,
so gut.
Left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Dieser Weg sagte.
Glaube nicht.
No. This isn't right at all.
Oh.
You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding?
Alter, der wurde
So viele
Rubbish
Enten.
now. The whole story
No,
completely unusable.
nö.
How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Ja,
Okay.
All of his co-workers
fangen wir einfach von vorne an,
What could
ne?
it mean?
Ist ja
Stanley decided to go to
Kein
the
Problem.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Das war dann ein schönes erstes Ending, ne?
When Stanley...
Was?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find
Okay, Moment, wir
the story.
schielen rein, okay. In alle Türen einmal so kurz reinschielen, aha.
Okay. Mhm. Ja.
Ja.
Gänge. Und Stühle.
Wir nehmen der, wo der Stuhl davor ist.
Da ist ein Stuhl davor.
Okay.
Ja, wir gehen...
Oh,
Oh.
sieht gefährlich aus.
Ja,
Ja,
es sieht ziemlich gefährlich aus, wenn du mich fragst.
I'll
hier waren
say
wir
it.
gerade.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay.
Ja, starten
Okay.
einfach nochmal von vorne, ne?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
Vielleicht
to the
finden wir ja
meeting
dieses
room.
Mal die Story,
Perhaps
wer
he had
weiß.
simply missed a memo.
Die Story, die kann ja gar nicht so weit weg sein.
Ja.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Dann gehen wir wohl zurück, ne? Was soll schon schief gehen? Was steht da? Wow, du dummer Nonsens.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Haben sie gefunden, Lexi, die
No,
Story?
wait,
Nee,
Okay.
never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Also,
Now this-
okay.
well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
Ich glaube nicht, dass
I
das die
can't
Story
quite
ist.
recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Er weiß es selbst nicht
Do you
mehr?
remember, Stanley?
Nee.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Spiel ist
Ja, wir haben
gespielt.
I
gewonnen.
know you put in
Easy.
a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Starten wir einfach nochmal neu, ne? Was soll schon schief gehen?
Nochmal.
All right,
Okay.
I've got a
Moment.
solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Nee.
Moment.
Nee, ich gehe
Was?
jetzt. Nee, wir folgen der Line nicht.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the
Okay.
line from now on.
Ja, kein Bock mehr. Folgen wir wohl der Linie, ne?
Passiert auch nichts, nicht. Moment, wir gucken uns erstmal. Was ist in dem Raum noch drin?
Welchen
Da ist noch
Raum?
ein Computer. Wir müssen den Computer schon angucken. Der spielt das Solitär. Der
Alter,
arbeitet nicht mehr.
Das ist der
Das ist
Arbeitsplatz von
Kurzbüro.
Kurt.
Ja,
Und
das ist kurz Büro, Leute.
Ich kann im Stuhl stehen.
Cool. Jetzt wisst ihr, was Kurz auf der Arbeit macht?
Er spielt
Wir haben
Solitär.
einfach kurz Büro. Das ist einfach das
You
Vermessungsamt.
see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley.
Moment, nein,
to
wir schauen uns die
destiny.
Kiste an. Wir schauen uns nicht so schnell. Wir schauen uns
Here's
an.
a thought.
Hier,
Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination
Kann ich nicht lesen.
still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that
Nein,
a
wir-
destination
Moment
is
mal, da
inevitably
ging's doch
conjured into
geradeaus.
being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa.
ja.
That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what?
Ja,
I
Gott,
think
das
what we
wird
need right
sehr
now
wirr hier.
is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oh, das fühlt sich direkt besser an. Ja, ich glaube, die
Bisschen
Musik
schon.
ist... Ich glaube, die ist ein bisschen sehr laut.
Ich weiß. Oh mein Gott, ich bin so verwirrt.
Wir folgen der Linie. Es ist die Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Folgen der Linie. Was? Warte. Warte, was?
Die Treppen!
Ja, siehst du das? Guck mal, hier ist ein Gang. Oh, gehe ich hier drumherum? Ist er einfach weg.
Ja, wir gehen die Treppen hoch. Wir
Wir
gehen die
gehen einfach
Treppen.
die Treppen hoch.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Ja.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure
Okay.
you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ich glaube, du
Okay,
solltest... Schreib das auf. Schreib das auf.
Moment, also erstmal, ich habe das Handy hier. Ich mache erstmal ein Foto von den Farben.
Ich glaube, die Farben sind sehr wichtig.
Die Farben, ja.
Ja, die
Ich bin
Farben.
absoluter Profi.
Ja.
Ich habe hier gemerkt, dass er
Hast du dir gemerkt?
grün-braun ist.
Okay, wunderbar.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Oh, wir sind wieder hier.
No, not
Oh.
again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Wir folgen wieder der Linie.
Ja,
You know
klar.
what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay.
Ist eine gute Idee.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just
Das
me
war,
and
als ob eine
Stanley forging a new
Sackgasse.
path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
Das macht keinen
Go
Sinn.
wild.
Wir gehen ständig
Use
nach
your
rechts.
imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Wir müssen in ein anderes Stockwerk gelangt sein. Sind immer nach rechts gelaufen.
No, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Oh, da ist die Linie wieder weg. Konnte die eh nie leiden, diese dumme Linie.
Ah, a choice. We
Ho, ho,
get
ho.
to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay.
Lauf in die
I
andere
know that
Richtung, lauf
each door
gegengesetzt.
has to lead somewhere. which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Okay.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes?
Nach langer Zeit stirbt Stanley.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Oh mein Gott.
Starten
Ich glaube, wir sind wieder ganz... Es ist neuer.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ja, ne? Das war verwirrend.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, gehen wir links.
Links, okay. Gehen wir wohl nach links.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a
Was
wave
steht
of
da?
disbelief, Stanley decided to go
also
up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Der Whiteboard Manager.
Moment. Wir müssen uns das Whiteboard nochmal genau anschauen. Das ist bestimmt wichtig. Das Wiederfahren, das ist wieder... Schau dir den Ding an!
Nee, das ist nicht wichtig.
Lass mich mal gucken. Also.
Ja, kannst du auch
Okay,
schauen ja.
Schauen wir uns das andere an.
Das andere Whiteboard willst du sehen.
Ja, kommen wir ist wie in einem Büro.
Die wichtige Frage ist, wer hat seinen Tisch verschoben?
Das geht auch aus. Moment, die Chancen.
Das ist zu spät.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Und zu unserem Boss?
Hier sieht's viel schöner aus.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked,
oh mein Gott, ich will auch solche
Stanley wondered
Bücherregale.
in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Einfach so durch pures Glück.
Doch, du hast Glück dann.
Wie konnten wir das bloß schaffen?
Das passiert ständig, du bist Glück.
So, als wäre da eine Stimme in unserem Kopf.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ey.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nein, wir gehen zu Escape. Wir gehen zu Escape.
Das ist Escape, okay.
Wir wollen Escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Bist du sicher? Wollen wir hier wirklich lang?
Ja, ja. Der verarscht uns nur.
Okay.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Wir können doch zurück.
Nein, wir laufen
At this
geradeaus
point,
weiter.
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ja, das
Wir
wollen
werden
wir.
sterben.
Nein, ich glaube nicht.
Okay.
Wir leben.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his
Ja, ich
demise,
glaub nicht
he
lange.
reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Ich glaube, wir fahren.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Nein, die werden jetzt gar nicht zugehen.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Nee, glaube ich nicht.
Okay.
Wir sind noch am Leben.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Das ist das Büro. Alter, das ist der Gang. Der Gang. Unfassbar. Die Aktenschränke. Die Bürocomputer. Guck mal, hier ist der Büro von Kurt.
Ich glaube, wir haben es. Oh, das ist wichtig.
Ja, das ist sehr wichtig. Hier, das Büro. Erinnerst du dich nicht? Knopfe.
Ja, da waren wir nicht. Da waren wir auch nicht. Geh mal nach links.
Okay. Dann gehe ich mal nach links. Das Büro. Der Wartungsraum. Erinnerst du dich noch an den großartigen Wartungsraum?
Da waren wir drin.
Ja, da waren wir tatsächlich drin. Hier, all diese Erinnerungen. Ja, das haben wir schon... Oh. Ich glaube, da ist ein Skelett in ihm drin. Erzähl da E-Mails. Auf dem Zeit. Okay. Das sind... Alter, Kapibaras. Das wäre stark. Wir sind süß. Eieiei. So viele E-Mails.
Mir gefällt dieses Antike.
Alter, das ist sein Arbeitsplatz. Unser Arbeitsplatz.
Aber dreimal.
Dreimal. Vielleicht jedes Mal mit kleinen Veränderungen. Hier siehst du. Hier war das am Anfang. Ja. Spieldesignmodell. Ein Aufzug.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Nee.
Stop now.
Wir können noch zurück.
And it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Sollen wir?
Wir setzen vor, natürlich. Oh. Also war ein schöner Part, ne?
Das ist... Und das war die Geschichte, wie Stanley starb. Und trotzdem sind
All
wir
of
wieder
his
hier.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ja, das war ein spannendes Ending, ne? Mit dem ganzen Museum, den ganzen Orten, an denen wir schon waren.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he
Okay,
entered
wir
the
gehen
door
wieder
on
nach
his
links.
left.
Wieder nach links.
Ja.
Vielleicht wollen wir lieber nach rechts.
Nein, wir wollen nach links.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ich wollte nur einen kurzen
Wow.
Abstecher in...
Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room.
Schau dir diesen Raum an.
Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Ja.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nein, 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 wir gehen weiter, wir gehen weiter.
Okay.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nein, wollen wir... Jetzt überlegen wir mal. Ich finde blau schöner als rot.
Aber er will, dass wir in die rote Tür gehen.
Ja, aber ich traue dem nicht.
Er will uns sicherlich schaden.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ah, ich denke, wir gehen immer noch durch die blaue Tür.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback
War
here.
schon, also eine dritte Tür war schon doch ganz nett, findest du nicht? Hallo? Lexi?
Ja,
Oh, du bist noch da, okay.
ich bin noch da. Ich überlege.
Es ist eine sehr schwierige Entscheidung, natürlich. Er möchte sehr ehrliches Feedback haben. Von daher...
Ich würde eine 2 nehmen.
2.
Ja.
A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Aha.
Okay.
Sehr spannend. Good old Neil. 2 Sekunden? Oh, das ist... Ja, doch, das ist ziemlich schnell. 21% haben die Intro-Szene übersprungen. Ah, okay. Oh, das sind wir.
Cool.
Wir sind der Letzte. Wir spielen schon seit 7 Stunden und 37 Minuten.
Nein, tun wir nicht.
Die Aufnahme sagt was anderes. Und wir haben keine Freunde. Oh, ne?
Stimmt. Die orange Tür! Die orange Tür.
Die orangene Tür.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Ja.
Na, ich würd sagen, ne 1.
Nein, so, ja, okay.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Ich glaube, dem war das einfach egal.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ja.
Nervt, dass das Geräusche macht.
Also, ich finde das Spiel bis jetzt durchaus sehr unterhaltsam.
Das ist ein bisschen nervig gerade.
Ja. 4 Stunden soll man das spielen, ne?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Spielen auch was anderes, ne? Ich meine, das Spiel war eh langweilig. Von daher.
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Ich glaube, das ist Firewatch, ne?
Ich hab. Ja.
Ja.
Ich meine, ich habe das nie gespielt, aber. Ist das von den gleichen Entwicklern? Durften
Nö.
die das deswegen nehmen?
Nö.
Ah, okay.
Also ich kann mich daran erinnern, dass in den alten Versionen von Stanley Parable andere Spiele hier waren. Zum Beispiel, ich glaube Minecraft war hier und... Kann ich hier runterspringen? Minecraft und... ich erinnere mich nicht mehr.
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing.
Stell dir mal vor, wir hätten einfach angefangen, Open World Spiel zu spielen.
No right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now.
Da ist ein größerer
I'm going to
Spalt.
get us out of here. Let's find another game.
Ja, nee, ich glaube, wir sind zu
Preferably
fett.
something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Bäume waren eh hässlich. Kurt hätte eine 1 von 10 gegeben für die Bäume. Von daher.
Das glaube ich auch.
Und besser so.
would be just the thing.
Alter.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
Einfach Rocket
Just a
League.
nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Oh. Wir haben einen Ball.
Schießt du ihn ins Tor?
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is
Also
this
ich hab
fun?
grad Spaß,
Is
ne?
it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Alter.
Yes. Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a
mehr
child in
Bälle.
a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
Alter. Warum? Warum sind hier so viele Bälle?
Moment, der ist runter. Lauf mal ins Tor rein.
Das Tor? Warte, ich will den Ball da reinschießen.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley?
Egal.
Are you having fun?
Oh.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Okay, ja. Ah.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Okay.
Oh.
Wir sind wieder im Büro.
Zurück im Büro. Wusstest
Ich
du?
frag,
Na, was?
was?
Erzähl du zuerst.
Ich frage mich, ob es so eine True Story gibt. Ob es wirklich, ob es einfach nur praktisch
Das eine
lustig
Ending sagst du?
Ob es halt, ja, nicht wirklich, ob es irgendwie so eine Connection gibt. Das alle Endings vielleicht auch erklärt. Das sagt, okay, man ist in so einer Art Fiebertraum oder sonst irgendwas oder
Weiß ja nicht.
ob es irgendwie nur halt Spaß ist.
Ja, Spannende Frage. Keine Ahnung. Aber weißt du, was tatsächlich spannend ist? Das erste Stanley Parable wurde im Jahr 2011 als Half-Life 2 Mod veröffentlicht. Und das ist es, was du hier gerade siehst.
Ich kenne Half-Life 2 nicht.
Ich auch nicht. Aber es sieht schon deutlich anders aus. Ne?
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Er wartet.
Er wartet ziemlich lange.
Fängt es immer an oder ist man auch
All of his
irgendwann mal
co-workers were
durch?
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich glaube einfach mal, dass es immer wieder von vorne anfängt. Ne?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Links.
Ich meine, er meinte ja auch vorhin, der Weg ist das Ziel. Von daher, wer weiß, ob es hier ein tatsächliches Ende gibt.
Ich mag es ganz gerne, wenn
Yet
ich
there was not a single person here either.
Moment, er hat uns die
Feeling a
Möglichkeit
wave of
gegeben, woanders
disbelief,
hinzu.
Stanley decided to go
Was?
up to his boss's office,
Doch,
hoping he
davor
might
gab's-
find an answer there.
Davor gab es immer diese eine Tür links, in die man noch rein konnte.
Nee,
und die
nee,
war
das,
weg.
das
diesmal.
war, wenn du rechts lang gehst.
Nein, das war.
Nicht hier
Wollen wir
rein.
mal links?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube, wir bleiben hier. Schön hier, findest du nicht? Die
There
Atmosphäre.
was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Atomar verseuchtes Seil. Weiß ich nicht.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ja, ich fühle mich hier wohl.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Sieht schön aus hier.
Ja, ich finde es sehr schön, die Atmosphäre hier.
You do realize there's
Das
no
Licht.
choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Oh mein Gott. Die müssen so viele Dialoge
Maybe
für
to you, this
diesen
is somehow
Spiel
its
geschrieben
own
haben.
branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with
Ich
your friends,
glaube,
you'll say,
ich habe
"Oh,
gehört.
did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
So gut. Ich glaube, ich habe gehört, dass ungefähr 4 Stunden Dialog musste der
Stanley was fat and
Sprecher
ugly and
einsprechen.
really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Die sind süchtig anscheinend.
Well,
But
I've come to a
Besenfirma.
very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Ich würde noch ein bisschen drin bleiben, es ist so schön gerade.
Verständlich, verständlich. Ich meine, ich bin ja gerade anscheinend gestorben, ne? Deswegen lass dir Zeit. Wenn du rausgehen möchtest, dann gehst du raus.
Ja, ich würde mir jetzt mal was zu essen machen noch und dann können wir ja so eine halbe Stunde rausgehen, würde ich sagen.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Ja.
Nee, also ich finde, wir sollten nochmal genau gucken, was hier so rumliegt. Die sind so
Schraubenschlüssel, Zangen,
Tape,
eine Zackerkanone, eine Pistole,
Kabel,
nochmal Tape.
Besen.
Ja, Besen in der Besenkammer hätte ich jetzt nicht erwartet, ne?
Nee, es ist schon ein bisschen.
Hier, guck mal, sogar Kartons. Könnte man sein Geschäft drauf erledigen. Ja, doch, hier könnte man wohnen. Ziemlich wohnlich. Ja. Ich glaube, wir gehen.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Wollen wir nicht nach unten laufen?
Du willst nach unten laufen?
Ja, lass uns nach unten laufen.
Laufen wir wohl nach unten?
Sind wir
Sieht
schon mal nach
ziemlich
unten
gefährlich
gelaufen?
aus. Wir haben noch fast gar nichts gemacht, von daher.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
Wir sind in
And then something occurred to
Schleife.
Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in
Oh
control.
Gott, es geht mir gerade so
that
auf
this
die
was a
Nerven,
dream.
hey.
So he closed his eyes
Ich pack das
gently,
nicht mehr.
and he invited himself to wake up. He felt
Ja,
the cool weight
bitte.
of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear
Warum
my
passiert
voice?
das? Ja, ich will auch, dass es aufhört.
And everything went black.
Das ist schon zum zweiten Mal schwarz. Davor ist es auch nicht. Es hat davor auch
This is
nicht
the story
aufgehört.
of a woman named Mariella.
Was?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming.
Hey, wir wissen, wie wir aussehen.
Then
Ach nee,
collapsed
wir haben uns
dead
ja
on the
vorher schon
sidewalk.
gesehen.
And although
Yep.
she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned
Moment.
and ran.
Sie ruft nicht die Polizei oder irgendjemanden?
Nee, sie hat ein wichtiges Geschäftsmeeting.
Klar.
Ja. Aber nach diesem wichtigen Geschäftsmeeting würde ich sagen, dass wir uns dem Ende des ersten Parts genähert haben. Denkst du nicht?
Ich denke auch, ja.
Du denkst dasselbe? Ja. Wäre nämlich ziemlich gut. Ich meine, wir haben uns alles
The
angeguckt.
meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and
Ja.
from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Und im nächsten Part werden wir dann wohl sehen, ob Stanley für immer alleine bleibt oder tatsächlich jemanden im Meetingraum findet.
Vielleicht auch nicht.
Ja. Und
Vielleicht bleibt auch noch für den nächsten Part alleine. Oder vielleicht auch nicht. Wir wissen es nicht.
das weiß keiner, definitiv nicht.